Hello. Sound quality of this one should be better than the last 2 weeks, but the me on the screen should be a bit messed up. This is to do with the equipment, though some anti-Semitic lunatic would probably say that it's some kind of plot by the Jews to stop me doing this. Now, the thing is, the most serious lunatic amongst these anti-Semites would actually claim that Jewish festivals like Passover and that are actually not based on the moon. The moon's movement is actually based on the things, because they have so much power. They actually control the phases of the moon. I mean, this is the kind of power they have. Well, how do you deal with such bloody idiots? This is what they're like. They'd actually refer to the Bible to back them up. Kind of, for instance, they would actually suggest that Joshua kept the sun and moon stood still. I mean, only he had that kind of power because he was a Jew. Now, this is seriously what they're like. Joshua keeping the sun and moon stood still. I think if we actually read the book of Joshua, we actually find out who actually has the real power. And I think I'm going to have to go through this. Because, yes, it is the most ridiculous anti-Semitic thing I have heard, about them controlling the phases of the moon. But I'll address this as best I can from this here book, which was written by Jews, by the way. No, all of it was written by Jews. Now, Joshua chapter 5, start from verse 13 down. When Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua approached him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" Simple question. Trust was quite a good thing back then, because he'd get a straight answer. He did. "Neither," he replied. This is the guy with the sword. "I have now come as commander of the Lord's army." Who's this? The commander of the Lord's army. Then Joshua bowed with his face to the ground in worship and asked him, "What does my Lord want?" Hold on a minute, to say to myself. Hold on. Bowed to the ground. No. It's already there in Torah. Worship the Lord your God and him only. And he's worshipping this bloke. And he calls him his Lord. I mean, that's Hebrew Adonai. The commander of the Lord and the army said, "Remove your sandals from your feet, for this place where you are standing is holy." Who is this commander of the armies of the Lord? Now, I mean, some tradition says it's the Archangel Michael. But for somebody to have so much power that Joshua would bow down and worship him, it can't be the Archangel Michael. I mean, you don't worship angels. Who could this possibly be? Well, this is actually the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the controller of the universe, Jesus Christ. So he's who's in control of the universe. And so basically, if he wants to, he can stop the sun and moon. we won't bother with the physics of this and actually put into account that this was Book of Joshua was somebody writing with under religious zeal, etc., because the Holy Land wasn't conquered with two decisive battles, and because there were still Canaanites around in the time of Solomon, and they were still around in the time of Christ, Canaanite women. So it isn't actually a historical account, but divinely inspired nevertheless, and Jesus Christ is the commander of the Lord's armies, the armies of heaven, and he is the king, and he's the one who's in control of everything, not a certain people group, and conspiracy theories can take a hide. But anti-Semitism, I'm very pleased with the march against anti-Semitism held today. More people turned up for that than turned up for all the other nonsense. Anti-Semitism is the worst kind of racism I have ever come across. I'm going to give an example of the kind of racism that I'm used to dealing with, based on skin colour, whatever. It's kind of like, they're not local, are they? Or he's not local, right? He's not from around here, that kind of thing. Subtle. I mean, they weren't sort of, I don't like him because he's this colour or something. And you don't actually get what they're getting at. Anti-Semitism is a bit subtle like this as well, I've found out. But it's more vile. Because you mentioned the Holocaust and them. Well, I don't know anything about the Holocaust. They're lying, they learnt it at school. Now, it takes a special kind of hatred to dishonour people you hate after they're dead. It takes a special kind of hate. That is what makes anti-Semitism so vile. You don't hear stuff like that about any other people of any other race after they're dead. But with anti-Semitism, you hear that amongst Holocaust deniers. It's the most disgusting form of racism you can get. It's just vile. And we have had quite a few people marching through London over the last month or so, but it was really nice. And for today, we saw the Menchies arrive. Menchies. Jewish viewers to understand what I mean. I'm not Jewish, but I'm not going to explain. Now, with Israel-Palestine, yes, I am still against the building of settlements in the West Bank. A considerable number of Israelis are also against the building of settlements in the West Bank. A considerable number of Jews worldwide are against the building of settlements in the West Bank. This is an issue that needs to be resolved. But there is another matter that needs to be dealt with. And this is called, this matter, this thing that needs to be dealt with, is called Hamas. Now, it is being said that Israelis were killed by the IDF on October the 7th. Yes, Hamas used them as human shields. Yes, Hamas uses human shields. Have you quite got that? Hamas uses human shields. Okay, let's put it this way. Hamas has no value on human life. Hamas uses human shields. Do I need to say it again? Right. Hamas have no bearing on people. They have no respect for human life at all. It's absolutely barbaric. They have no empathy at all with other human beings. That's why they use human shields. Now, they put their bases under hospitals to use ill people as human shields. It really doesn't stop there. They have such lack of empathy on human beings that you may have wondered how they managed, so few of them managed to kill so many Israelis on October the 7th. Now let me explain. All these Israelis were running away, but they seemed to get a lot. They seemed to be good shots, didn't they? Do you know how? Well, they round up Palestinian civilians in Gaza and use them as live targets. That is what they do. They have absolutely no respect for fellow human beings. They are 100% evil, and they need to be wiped out. And therefore, in this matter concerning the destruction of Hamas, I am 100% behind Israel and the IDF. And if they fail, then more of the same by people who have decided to deny themselves their humanity. Have I made that clear? Now, there is also... are you quite pleased at hearing a balanced view about this whole thing? My view on the settlements, my view on Hamas, and what's going on. We're separating the West Bank from Gaza instead of looking at it like Israel against the Palestinians and looking at the thing. Why don't the BBC or anyone do that? Well, basically, part of it is because the Bolshevik broadcasting community have this idea that we're all thick and we couldn't work out something this complicated, which of course we can. This is what an education in journalism probably does to you. I mean, you're the one who knows, but they don't know anything, do they? I mean, like, I'm a journalist. I'm just... and they're like, the death certificates come from Hamas. You know, it's reliable, isn't it? I mean, it's just totally ridiculous. And the BBC have been coming under some criticism, actually. Let's have a butcher's on this. Yeah, they're coming under some criticism for their bias in their coverage. Yeah. Certain civilian lives are considered more worthy than others, is what somebody has actually said in the BBC's reporting. What else is going on in Gaza? Well, apparently, another thing about Hamas that we need to discuss, right, is their brand of Islam. You see, they've built a lot of mosques around Gaza, but they're not actually mosques. They are bases and weapons stores. That's fine, is it? Well, you see, Hamas are not Muslims in the traditional sense, storing weapons in mosques. If they think they are not following Islam by putting weapons in mosques, then I suggest they go and read the Quran. Also, the tunnels built in Gaza, they were built by child labour. The left would claim that us conservatives want to stick children up chimneys while supporting an organisation that actually had children building tunnels. It doesn't stop there with their support for child labour, by the way. I mean, we all should have electric cars because of cobalt mined by children in cobalt mines. So the left was for child labour. I mean, like, don't lecture me on morals. And there's that. Have I covered everything I intended to cover? I've had a go at the pioneers of the bullshit frontier that is the Bolshevik broadcasting commune that everybody follows. Yes, France 24 has reported on the Anti-Semitism march. Boris Johnson actually said that he was upset that he felt the need for such a march to take place. I also feel it's really sad that I have felt the need to make this video explaining the political reality and having to stand against the evil of anti-Semitism. But that is where we are. Anyway, this will be the end of it. Shalom, salam, Pax Christi.